Good afternoon. I'm Joe Napoli, your city manager, and welcome to the third iteration of Zoom at Noon. And what we're trying to do with these Zoom at Noons is to connect directly with our residents, both virtually. And then I know that we've received questions in advance that we will address. So this is a wonderful opportunity for us to get issues and concerns from our residents, an opportunity to address those directly. I have several of our directors online. I have our utilities director and our community development director and our chief financial officer, as well as our chief information officer. And we're here to answer the questions that you've submitted, or if anybody has any questions that they have during the Zoom, we'd be happy to do that. So similar to what we've done in the past, what I would like to do is just give you a brief update on things that are going on in the city, but also how you can connect with the city. It's very important that you understand how you can connect with the city, and there's several means that we have for you to be able to do that. I'll give you an update on some of the things that we have going on, and then we'll have our question and answer period. And so first of all, with connecting, well, let me just explain to you, if you have a question as we're speaking, please use the Q&A function on your Zoom box. What you can rate with the Q&A function, you can go ahead and submit a question, and we will answer that at the end of the hour as we go throughout the hour. So please do that if you have any questions. Connecting with the city is easy. You can scan this QR code right now if you wish, but this QR code is on all of the information that we send out. But with this QR code, you can sign up for all of our newsletters. We send out a weekly newsletter. We send out reminders of events weekly, or actually throughout the week. We send about event updates and also alerts. So please scan this QR code so that you can connect with the city. We also are on all social media platforms. You can see them there. I ask that you sign up for all of the platforms that you use, because we're consistently sending out information about what's going on in the city for your information. So please do that as well. Just so I know, there's been a lot of questions on our community pool resurfacing. It's been a frustrating project for our residents, I know, but also for us. We are paying for this through the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021. There has been significant progress since our last meeting a month ago, but it hasn't been fast enough to our satisfaction. But they are finally ready to apply the Diamond Bright. That should be added this week. And hopefully within the next couple of weeks, the pool will be open for public use. Just so everybody knows, unfortunately, we had a clause in our contract that we had an agreed upon deadline of June 24th, and the contractor is being fined $250 every day that the pool is not open since then. We're finalizing our fiscal 2023 budget. We've had two workshops with our commission. We had input from the public, and we're set and we're ready to go ahead and have our public hearings, which will be, the first one will be on September 14th. Second one will be on September 27th. The public is obviously invited to come and participate and provide additional input. The commission has lowered the tentative operating millage rate, as you can see that there, 5.875. This would be if it's finally adopted, would be the lowest operating millage that the city has seen since 2014. So our commission has asked us and pushed us hard to be very fiscally responsible. They've lowered the millage for the past 4 years. And I think this is showing a benefit to our residents. And not only have the millage been reduced, but handling our budget with prudence has allowed us also to add to the city's reserves over this period. Next slide, please. So we'll go directly into the question and answers or the questions that we received, and then provide the answers right on the screen for you. And the first one is one that we really receive a lot of questions about, and that's really tree trimming on homeowners' properties. And the code indicates that the abutting property, even though it's on the swale, it's the abutting property owner's responsibility to maintain those trees. What the city does is we do a select amount of tree trimming on our own, and we do that to provide uniformity and to also ensure that there's no safety concerns. But at the end of the day, the tree trimming is the responsibility of the budding property owner, and the city does do a select amount of tree trimming. One thing that you may have seen in our last budget workshop is that we're going to be transitioning from our tree trimming, which is done by a contractor. We're going to do that, take that fully in-house, tree trimming, pruning, that sort of thing, so that we can cover a larger part of the trees that we need to take care of, and ensure that it's done on a consistent manner throughout the entire year. So we should see in next year's budget our ability to bring that fully in-house, and I believe the residents will see much more activity regarding the tree trimming that the city does. Next slide, please. This again refers to that issue of tree trimming. Our Public Works, I believe, has received this information from the particular resident that brought this up. They've assessed that area, and they've indicated that they saw no concern or immediate safety issues. But if you still have a concern on that area, please do contact our Public Works Department. Or if you feel like you would like to send me the information, I'll follow up with the Public Works Department. But I've been told right now that there is no concern. Next slide, please. So on the dog park location, I think as everybody knows, our commission decided to close the dog park at Forest Lake after a lengthy discussion and complaints from residents in that area. So that dog park has been closed permanently. We've gone through a very deliberate process in looking at other areas. And Mike, if you could put the answer up there, but we've gone through a very deliberate part of looking at other areas within the city. You can see other areas that we considered, and we deemed that the need for ample space, the distance from residential property, having parking availability and water availability, that we identified Brian Piccolo Park as the best option. It really suits all the major needs of having a full-blown modern dog park. So we are working with Broward County to establish a dog park at Brian Piccolo Park that will, again, be very large, ample space. It's not close to any residential property, so we won't have residents being impacted by it. And more importantly, we'll have the parking necessary and the water available at that park. So we expect to continue to work with the Broward County to have a modern, large dog park at Brian Piccolo Park in the future. Next, this is a question on when the 49th Street in Flamingo, between Flamingo Road and 118th Ave will be resurfaced. That is in our plan for next fiscal year, which begins in October. So once the budget is approved, then we expect to get going on doing that resurfacing. Unfortunately, we don't have a city ordinance regarding loud noises emanating from farm animals. We have one area of, well, a few small areas in the southern part of the city that are zoned agriculture, but we do not have an ordinance that controls the noises emanating from them. I would be interested if this resident wants to contact me. If it is significant, then we can analyze it and perhaps propose, or at least have the commission consider amending the code. But as of right now, we do not have anything that governs that. So vehicles, this is a question we've had this question many times throughout the city, but cars are allowed to be parked in the swale on many areas of the city. The only areas, and this was by ordinance a few years ago, are where there are no parking signs in the area. So unless there's no parking signs in the area, then cars are allowed to be parked in the swale. If there's a car that is abandoned, then we certainly would need to know about that. And so we will take a look into this red van, and if it's still an issue, we will take care of it. This is a very relevant question, but unfortunately, right now, flags on private property are protected by the First Amendment. If they're vulgar or use profanity, they are protected, but it must be on private property, and it cannot be in a swale area. This is a very detailed question, and generally we don't receive these types of complaints. It appears that on this one, of the 5 permits, one has not been issued. And if you can go to the answer, and Carlos, I'll ask you to jump in here if you want to add more detail. Carlos, you have anything to add?
Yeah, sorry, trying to find the unmute button. But yes, I did receive that message. And as always, we always strive to provide the best customer service to our residents. And the Florida Building Code and Broward County amendments have specific requirements where we are allowed to review permits within 30 working days. Now, the comment referred to the 5 permits, and one of them was not issued. So we would just like an opportunity to look into that further. And if they can provide us an address, a permit number, or a process number that we can look into. This may be just an isolated situation, but our team's glad to look into it and be able to get them an answer for that. But as the code does say, we do have 30 days. The first 4 permits were approved within 10 business days, and so we'd just like an opportunity to look into it and be happy to speak with the resident and address any further issues that they have.
Okay, thank you, Carlos. And for everybody's information, Carlos Vega, if you don't know him, is our community development department where permitting falls under. Well, there's a question of the status of the Bank of America building and Countryside Shops. Right now, we're not aware of anything coming in replacing Bank of America. But we do know that they have submitted the permits to upgrade the exterior, the lighting, and a permit for a new roof, upgrading the tile, and also new signage. So it looks like perhaps Bank of America is staying and they're modernizing their facility. Yeah, this unfortunately is a common problem in Cooper City. People's addresses listed as Hollywood, sometimes Pembroke Pines. Since we don't have a post office in the city or a specific zip code for Cooper City, our zip codes are shared with our perimeter cities, Pembroke Pines, Hollywood, and Davie. And so we have this a lot with those 2 zip codes, 33026 and 33024. And unfortunately, sometimes that will show up as one of those cities instead of Cooper City. But just rest assured that we have all of the proper addresses in our database. And so when you're ever coming in for permits or to receive city services, we know that you are a Cooper City resident. This is a variance in people's water bill, and our bills are not averaged to a predetermined amount. So we've had an issue with some of our water meters, and so some of those bills were estimated, and but however, if you received an estimated bill and if there was a difference in water usage was less than 4,000 gallons, and that bill is being adjusted. So I would request that you please call the utility billing department and identify your specific residents, and we will definitely deal with that if the estimate needs to be adjusted, but we will take care of that. And like I said, we've noticed that some meters were not being read properly, and we're looking into that as well. This is another common question that we have. Is there a partial credit for having to drain a residential pool? We do not have that in our code. So, but what we do is there's a cap, and I will get that number out. I don't know if anybody knows it on the call right now, but there's a cap on a certain amount of usage, where if the usage goes over that amount, then you will not build any additional for that particular month. But if you have had to do this, you can call our utility department, utility billing customer service at that number, and we will readily give you what that cap is on the amount of usage that you would have for a particular month. But I know that some cities have this, not all cities do, and we do not have this. Here's just some upcoming events that we have, that I'd like to share with you. Again, if you go to our website, we do have an events calendar. It has the events calendar throughout the year on events coming up to the city. All of those platforms that I identified earlier, we're always putting out information on what's going on in the city and upcoming events. Plus, we consistently send out information on particular events that are in the near term. So I do encourage you again, one more time, to sign up for our newsletter, to sign up for our social media platforms, to read the quarterly newsletter that we send to you, to every residence every month, because it has a plethora of information on what's going on in the city. So here's some events that we have in the very near term. On September 3rd, we'll have the bike rodeo. That'll be just outside our police and fire, south of our police and fire station in that parking lot. We'll have Touch a Truck in the same location on September 17th. And then this will be a lot of fun on September 23rd, the Mom and Kids Superhero Night of Fun at our community center. I know Halloween's coming up, and we have a lot of Halloween activities coming up that we'll keep you informed about as well.
So Joe, at this point, we haven't received any questions through the Q&A function. I'm just trying to see, we do have some residents on the platform. So just trying to maybe give them a minute while they think about any questions they might want to type. On one of our events, I should have included in here, coming up on September 24th, there's also a tree and plant workshop that is facilitated by our Green Advisory Board and Public Works. There's a whole agenda that we've uploaded on our online calendar. So anyone can check that out, and it includes a phone number where you can RSVP if you would like to attend that tree and plant care workshop. There is limited seating available.
Yeah, it's a great workshop. I know I attended last year, and it's just a wonderful workshop with full attendance. So yeah, please RSVP early on. It was packed, our auditorium was packed, and just wonderful information for our residents about care of plants. While anybody's maybe coming up for other questions, I would like to thank all of our residents for, number one, taking the time to submit their questions, for their active participation in our city. This is just a pleasure for myself and our staff to be able to interact directly with you and answer your questions and concerns. I know that a lot of you participate actively in our boards and in our events, and that's why Cooper City is such a wonderful place to live. And for us, it's a wonderful place to serve because of the active participation of our residents, and we certainly appreciate it. Do you have anything? Are there any questions, Mike?
No, Joe, at this point, no questions have been submitted.
Okay.
So still have some folks on here, but Nothing's been submitted at this point.
Okay, well, we'll go ahead and close out. And again, I want to thank those that are online and those that have submitted questions. And I look forward to speaking again next month.
Yeah, Joe, just one question did come in very quickly here. Robin was asking, will the tree and plant workshop be available on Zoom? It will not. This is a in-person only event. So you would have to be in person. This will take place at City Hall.
Any other questions?
Nope, that's the only one.
Okay, well, again, participants, thank you again for joining us. Those who submitted questions, thank you. And I look forward to seeing you next month. Thank you very much.